Greetings, everybody. This is Professor Brennan. It's a pleasure to meet you. I know this is an online presentation, but this is for our first assignment, so I wanted to do this to be able to help you. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the marketing software applications for IGS1102-001, Fridays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. So let's go ahead and look at the first slide. The first assignment is the Microsoft Word Office number 1, how to write a business letter, which includes document formatting. So what are we going to do? Well, the first exercise is called 20 questions. It's on page 6 of the handout that I made available on our iClass. So the students will create a table using the number feature, change style, font, etc., while answering questions about themselves. So if you see here, it says 20 questions. What are you going to do first? Well, we're going to open the Microsoft Office Word. So let's go ahead and look at that. So here's a little video that I made that's going to show what we have to do. First, you're going to put your first name, middle, then last name. Then you're going to add your nickname. When it comes to your nickname, a lot of you have very long names. So if you have an English nickname, that'll really help me. Also, let me know what your nickname is so I can put that into my grade book. It's much easier for me because I know, like I said, a lot of you have very long names. So it'll be much easier for me. When you add the date, it'll be month, day, then year. Of course, it's Professor Brennan. It's the Microsoft Office software class. MS Word, this is our first assignment called 20 questions. It asks you on the side to make your name center justified and then to make the date right justified. You can see from the video where I clicked on the icons above on the top left. So the nickname is center justified. Then it asks, if you go to the top left, you can see like a grid icon. You click on the grid icon. I chose 2 squares, and then I pulled down the maximum of, it was like 6 or 8 boxes. And then you can easily add to these by going to the very end and then hitting return, and it adds another line of boxes, which I ended up doing here. Now you're going to start putting in the different questions. Start typing those in. So number 1 was, what is your nickname? And then on the right side box, you're going to enter the answer. Please enter in full sentences. The second question was, how old are you? The third question is, what color do you feel is most appropriate to wear in the business world? Question 4, what would be your favorite job if you could do anything or be anything? And you could see what I was doing. I was copying pasting from another Microsoft Word document that I'd already written. I'd already written the oops, sorry. Sorry, I was taping, or not taping, but I was trying to keep track of how long this recording is. Just one second. Let me use my phone instead. That timer was saying that had already been 5 minutes, but anyways, you could see I was having trouble copying and pasting. I was losing the formatting. So what I did was I deleted the number, and then I went above, and you can see about right here, it's too small for me to see, but you can copy the format. So I copied the number 4 format, and then I went like that, and then it ended up working. So question 5 was, where do you plan on living when you start your career? Number 6, what is your favorite fast food? And that could be anything. Question 7 is, what is your favorite sports team? Question 8, what is your favorite holiday? Question 9, what is your least favorite holiday? Question 10, what is your most overused phrase? You can put that in English. What is the most overused phrase that you use in English? Question 11, what personality traits do you feel you need for your chosen career? Earlier, it asked you, what would you like to be? So, or you could think of, well, I want to be a business person. So for example, I think for a business person, I would need these traits to be successful. Or whether it's like I want to be in sales. Well, in sales, what traits would be most beneficial for you in that field? Question 12, what do you want to do, or what do you want to be when you grow up? I know most of us, or not most of us, all of us are adults. Some are older than others. But here it just means, when you graduate, what do you want to be? Or you can also answer it as, when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? Question 13. How old do you think you'll be when you grow up? Again, I've grown up for a long time, so I put at what age I felt, oh, I'm really grown up, or that I really felt like an adult, or I felt a big change from being a child to an adult. Question 14, how old do you think you'll be when you retire? For me, it's very easy because I'm closer to my retirement age than you are. But think about yourself. Is there a national age limit? For example, in America, 65 is the retirement age. In Korea, normally it's 60. Unless you're in certain professions, then it's 65. Are you a risk taker? Now, a risk taker is the opposite of someone who is risk adverse. So a risk taker usually can make more hasty decisions. They can also, they're more likely to gamble on things instead of taking the easy way. They would rather risk more for a higher return than, for example, investing in stock. Would you rather put your money in a savings account where you're guaranteed interest over a certain amount of time, even though it's small? Or would you put it in the stock market because you can get much higher returns, but you have a much higher risk to lose the money that you invested? Do you prefer to work as a team or alone? And think about yourself now. I answered this question thinking about how I liked to do when I was younger and how I like to do now. It's different. Are you a leader or a follower? For some of you, maybe you were a follower and then became a leader, or maybe you were a leader then became a follower, or you were always a leader or a follower. Answer it how you want. Question 17. Oh no, well, question 18. What is the last TV show you watched? For me, I watched Netflix last night for about an hour before I went to bed, so I knew exactly what TV show it was. Question 19. What is the last DVD? It says DVD, but no one buys DVDs anymore. So it's that you purchased. So for myself, it was VOD, video on demand. I clearly remembered because I bought it for my son. So And question 20, what relevance do you feel the questions have in regard to acceptable business behavior? So here, these questions are definitely helpful because we're going to discuss these with each other, but also it helps to give you something to write for this assignment, but also I think it helps you to think about your future in business. And where do you want to be? What do you want to do? How do you feel that business people should do or act or behave? Okay, so now moving on, we're going to actually type the 20 questions. So the first question you saw over there, we're kind of going, what was I doing? Oh, there. So what I did was, to be able to make the video, I actually typed all of the, oops, hold on. I typed all of the 20 questions, and then I hit back. You can see that's why I'm hitting up here in the top left. I hit back to the beginning. So that way, instead of me typing it while I'm recording, it's easier to do. So that's just explaining how I did this. So question 1. So type, what is your nickname? Question 2. Please type, how old are you? Question 3. Type, what color do you feel is the most appropriate to wear in the business world? And you can write that from a male perspective or a female perspective, or you can write it in the perspective of your country or Korea. It's up to you. I wrote it in the perspective of being American and what is appropriate in American culture. Question 4. What would be your favorite job if you could do anything? And I don't put down, I'd like to be a rock star or something like that, something that's you think is more attainable, unless you think you are the good enough to be a famous rock star. But for just in general, just think of like business purposes. What would the profession that you're going to university for? Question 5. Where do you plan on living when you start your career? For many of you are foreign students, so do you plan on starting your career here in Korea after you graduate? Do you plan on starting your career back in your home country? So if so, state where. Question 6. What is your favorite fast food? You can define what fast food is. When I think of fast food, I think like hamburgers, burritos, that kind of thing. But many Koreans, they think of fast food as like ramen and kimbap, right? So it depends on, your home country, whatever that may be. Question 7. What is your favorite sports? It should be team, T-E-A-M. I corrected that later. Unfortunately, I never took a typing class, so whenever I type, I look at the keyboard and then later correct what mistake I made. But it says, what is your favorite sports team? T-E-A-M. That could be anything. For me, I chose my favorite NBA team because I like to follow the NBA. Question 8. What is your favorite holiday? And this could be your national holiday, a Korean holiday, whatever. It's up to you. Answer it how you wish. So question 9 is, what is your least favorite holiday? Maybe that's very different depending on what country you're from. Question 10. What is your most overused phrase. Now think about this in English. What phrase do you use too much, right? Even myself, I have a phrase or some phrases that I use a lot, and even my son repeats them. So it's kind of funny to see what that is. Question 11. What personality traits do you feel you need for your chosen career? So again, you're going to university for a reason. Maybe not all of you know what you want to do after you graduate, but just think about most likely. Like, if you're doing business degree, you're probably going to go into business. Maybe you don't know exactly what field. It could be sales, marketing. It could be anything really, but just your best guess if you don't know. Question 12. What do you want to be when you grow up? And of course, we're all adults. So, you could answer it as in, what did you want to do when you were a child growing up? Or, think of yourself now. You're not sure, but, I knew growing up that I wanted to be something when I was young. And then later when I was like high school age, then I had another idea of what I wanted to do. And then later, after I did it for a little bit, I decided I wanted to do something else. So, but right now, think about what did you want to do when you grew up? Like what job, profession did you want to do? Question 13. How old do you think you'll be when you retire? Oh, I'm sorry, no. Question 13 is how old do you think you'll be when you grow up? So, all of us are adults. So for me, I chose what age I was when I really felt like, wow, I'm an adult. For some of you, it may be when you were actually quite young. It could be, oh, the day I turned 18, or it could be the day I turned 25, or I still don't feel like I've grown up yet. It's up to you. Question 14. There we go. How old do you think you'll be when you retire? Now that's a different question, right? So, do you plan on working until retirement age, whether it's 65 or 60 or 67, whatever it may be? Or do you think you're going to get rich and retire early? Question 15 is, are you a risk taker? Remember, a risk taker is somebody who is more willing to gamble and is on the opposite is someone who is risk adverse, someone who does not like to gamble. They like the sure thing. For example, investing money into a savings account, getting 1%, 2% interest, to them is better than investing your money and maybe losing money, even though you could be getting 10, 15, 20 times as much. And question 16, do you prefer to work as a team or alone? So that may change. Maybe before you like to work in one or the other, and then now something different. So just answer how you feel, which is most appropriate. Question 17, are you a leader or a follower? You're one or the other. If you're not sure, then you're a follower. If you're sure, you could be a leader or a follower, but if you're not sure which you are, then you're a follower. Because leaders, they always know that they're a leader. 18. What is the last TV show that you watched? As I said, for me, it was very easy because I don't watch TV very much. But last night I had a few hours to myself. So I ended up watching Netflix. So I know exactly what TV show it was, what episode, what season, everything. Question 19. What is the last DVD you purchased? Remember, we don't buy DVDs very often anymore. So what movie did you purchase? It could be rented or purchased. I bought a movie on video on demand for my son, so I know exactly what it was. And question 20. What relevance do you feel these questions have in regards to acceptable business behavior? These questions will help you a little bit just to kind of generate things to talk about and to write about. But also a lot of these questions kind of make you think about, what do you want to be when you grow up or graduate? What do you want to do? How should you be to be successful at that profession? Okay. That's the end of this slide. Okay, so now we're on slide 6 of 7. And here we're going to answer the questions. So what is your nickname? Just one thing I realized after I did this, you should first go to the drop down here where it says insert, click on insert, and then it's going to ask you, like you can see an icon for boxes. Click 2 boxes over and then down all the way, and then create 20 boxes, and you'll put question 1 in the box on the left, and then you'll put your answer on the right. I saw this afterwards, but I just did it this way. This is just for an example so you can see. But please, when you're doing this, make the boxes and then put your question in the left box, answer in the right box like this. I do this afterwards, but this is just to show you how I did the questions and my answers, just to give you an example. So what is your nickname? Nobody in this class should call me by my nickname. That's only for my university friends. But my nickname at university was Fat Boy. And it's funny because my British friends, I went to school in England for 2.5 years, and I exercised all the time. I was playing sport all the time. I was playing soccer, I was playing basketball, everything. I was weight training, and I was always watching what I was eating. I was in good shape. So my friends, to make fun of me, called me Fat Boy, or FB. So FB was short for Fat Boy. So even to this day, whenever I talk to my British friends, they always call me FB, which is funny. That's my father's initials, Frank Brennan. But anyways, maybe I'm oversharing a little bit, but anyways, I had to answer the question. So how old are you? I am XX years old. You should put in your age. I don't need to share mine with you. The next question was, what color do you feel is most appropriate to wear in the business world? And I said, so to answer question 3, I said, in the USA, it is common for men to wear black and blue suits with a white shirt and a colorful tie. Usually for men, in America, we wear whatever color we want for our tie. Typically, if you wear blue tie, you're Democrat, red tie is Republican, but in business sense, that doesn't matter, but in politics, that's what they do. But a lot of times, men's color usually is in their tie. For women in business, they tend to have a lot more different colors that they can wear, and they tend to wear more colorful clothing in business. But even then, in kind of like more the traditional business sense, usually it's black or blue. And then but they're able to wear, skirts, pants, whatever, but more colors usually. So question 4, what would be your favorite job if you could do anything? I wrote, Yeah, so I truly believe that I'm living the best life because I do what I love. I love being a professor. I also own a business that I've been doing for 17 years. So I'm a small business owner. My business is successful. I have a couple employees, my wife being one of them, and another employee that is my assistant. That's something that I feel it's the best of both worlds. I get to, you know, enjoy being a professor and meeting young people every semester, and it keeps me feeling young. But I have a business that helps me financially and keeps me independent, which I really enjoy. But if I had to choose a different profession than being a professor, it definitely would have been being a lawyer. I almost went to law school, but instead I started teaching after I graduated with my education degree. I wanted to go to law school, but I thought I needed to make money. And then later I ended up going into business and doing an MBA and then a PhD instead of going to law school. If like I said, if I could have done anything else, it would have been a lawyer. I felt that either I would like to be a prosecutor and protect people, or I'd like to help people to protect them from the system, to protect them from um, going to jail, to help people to get satisfaction for cases that they felt that are very important to them. Uh, Question 5. Where do you plan on living when you start your career? Well, for me, question 5 was very easy because where do you plan on living when you start your career? I actually started my career in Washington State, my home state. I was a high school teacher for 6 months for my student teaching, and then my first job after graduating, I had many jobs through university when I was in high school, university. But when I say start my career, that's like when I started my professional career. That's when I came to Korea, originally as an English teacher. Um, and that was my first job post graduation. And I've worked in Korea for a long time. I worked for the Korean government after I was a teacher, and for here in Seoul for a couple of years as a public relations manager. And then I went to America to work for the Korean Tourism Organization as a regional marketing manager for 6 years. And then for a tour company, tour operator for 2 years as a regional sales manager. And then I came back here 10 years ago to be a professor at Inha University. So again, I plan to stay in Korea because this is where my life is. My family's here. But for you, it may be different. Do you plan on going home and starting your career there, or staying in Korea after you graduate and start your career here? Question 6. What is your favorite fast food? So, I don't eat many hamburgers, but I like to eat really good hamburgers. So you won't see me at McDonald's. Sometimes I'll eat a Burger King just because that's what's there. But, I like gourmet burgers and fries. And whenever I go home, I always go to Red Robin. And if you Google that, Red Robin has the best hamburgers. And you can get really good hamburgers in Korea at Shake Shack or something, but they're highly overpriced. If you get a chance, go to Bucheon, near Bucheon University, and go to Cry Cheeseburger. Cry Cheeseburger is actually a ripoff of In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger's the best burger I've had in Korea. That's only like 6 or 7,000 won. It's exactly a ripoff of In-N-Out. The owner used to work at In-N-Out in Los Angeles for a couple years. So when he came back, he made In-N-Out Burger, Cry Cheeseburger. Anyways, hamburgers and French fries, or I would say pizza. I love pizza as well, but some people don't call that fast food. I do. Next question. What is your favorite sports team? This was very easy for me. This is what keeps me sane and keeps me grounded in my American culture is watching the Chicago Bulls. I've always been a fan since I was a little kid. Um, I've followed the Bulls since Michael Jordan was drafted in the mid 80s. Even now, that's my favorite thing to do with my son. We watch Chicago Bulls together. My son now loves watching the Chicago Bulls. He knows all the players, and now he is really into the NBA. He's only 9 years old, but he checks the stats, he checks the rankings, he knows which teams are where they're ranked. So to me, that's how I share my culture with my son. It's only one part of my culture, but it's something that's very important to me, and that's something I look forward to every week. Is when is the next Chicago Bulls game, even though they're terrible this year. But it's still exciting and fun for me to watch. Okay, question 9. What is your favorite holiday? My favorite holiday is Christmas because so. Oops. Christmas time for the month is great because it's become a tradition that we have about 15 or 20 Christmas movies that we always watch. And every night or so, we watch a Christmas movie. And then, of course, my son gets so excited because we buy him a bunch of presents and then we take him to his grandparents' house and they all buy him presents. So for my son, it definitely is the best time. And I love that time of the year. And I love spending that with my wife and my son. So yeah. So what is your least favorite holiday? So, as people normally of my age, Valentine's Day was very important when my wife and I were dating and when we first got married. But after we got married, it was just, oh, let's go out for dinner. And also, my wife and I both don't eat chocolate much. I mean, we like chocolate, but very small amounts. So whenever we get each other chocolate, my son eats it all. So that's why we don't buy much chocolate. Um, what is your most overused phrase? So after I wrote this, now actually thinking about it, there's another phrase I use a lot more than that. It is what it is. It just means, you can't change what it is, so you just have to accept it. But I now thinking about it, my son always says, "Daddy, that doesn't make sense." So I say that all the time. I said, "Jay, that doesn't make sense." Like my son says something to me and it logically is not correct. So he'll say something, I'll say, "Jay, that doesn't make sense." And so now my son says it to me all the time. He's like, "Daddy, that doesn't make sense." If I tell him something, and it's because not because it's logical, it's just because Daddy said so. Then he said, Daddy, that doesn't make sense. So I guess I use that phrase too much. Question 11, what personality traits do you feel you need for your chosen career? So I wrote, for being a professor, I thought that being talkative, outgoing, and being empathetic. So being talkative, my job is to talk, and then, I'm very outgoing. To be a professor, you don't have to be, but I really enjoy talking and presenting and discussing and being empathetic. That because that means I have to understand, what my students are going through and how they're feeling. And, I have 150, 200 students every semester, and I have maybe 30% of them are from different countries. So I try to understand them and empathize with them to see, what they're feeling emotionally and mentally, etc. So I feel like it helps me to be multicultural, which I am, and then I live in a multicultural family. But to empathize, to be able to understand people and people from different cultures, it's important. So, question 12, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer is kind of funny but truthful. When I was at college and in high school, I realized I liked, as I said before, I was very talkative. I liked teaching. I liked explaining things to people. So I realized I wanted to be a teacher, and I had some really good high school teachers, and I wanted to be like them. So I went to university to become a high school teacher. I did my student teaching. I graduated with a bachelor's of education in social studies and politics. And the other main reason was I wanted my summers off. Because in America, you get 2 months vacation during summer break, you get a week off at spring break, and you get 2 weeks off at winter break. So, or a week off at winter break. So for me, 3 months vacation per year meant I can do all the other things that I love to do and that I'm passionate about. I wanted to be able to go golfing. I love to golf. I love to play sports. I want to go travel. I wanted to learn something. I always thought that that would give me the opportunity to do it. So that's why I became a professor later as well. All right. So question 13, how do you think you will be when you grow up? So I said never. Well, that's what my wife says. She says you'll never grow up. Well, that's how you stay young, when you feel young at heart, right? Um, but seriously, I felt, when I turned 25, I had an epiphany that's when you have like a lightning bolt and you have this like realization. And on my 25th birthday, I felt like, wow, I'm a quarter of a century old. There's so many things I want to do with my life, etc. But when I turned 18 years old, the talk my dad gave me made me feel like, oh, I'm an adult. Well, I didn't feel like an adult, but he told me I was an adult. And also when I turned 21, you can carry a handgun, or you can buy alcohol, or that's what a lot of Americans feel like an adult. Or at 18, because you can vote and you can be, you have to register for the draft, that kind of thing. So there's different milestones, but I really felt at 25 is when I really felt like an adult. Anyways, number 14, how old do you think you'll be when you retire? And this is my honest answer. So this answer is true. I'll never fully retire. I'll retire as a professor, either when I'm probably 65, but I'll never stop doing business. My business, I can do it forever if I wanted to, really, but there'll be a time when I want to do something else. But even then, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to do a different business in my retirement. For me, it's for fun. I enjoy, keeps my mind, always thinking. I have to be thinking about something. So if it's a business, then I can always throw my passion into it. So 15, are you a risk taker? So yes, I'm a risk taker, obviously, because I do a business. It is risky. Um, Yeah, but my wife is risk adverse and I'm a risk taker. So actually, we make a good team because I always want to do a lot more, and my wife always kind of pulls me back so that way I don't do too much. I trust my wife's opinion a lot. So usually what she says is very true. But sometimes I feel like, hey, uh, the fortune favors the bold. That's a very true adage, and I truly believe in that. Question 16, do you prefer to work as a team or alone? Um, so yeah, um, so I always liked doing teamwork and team projects, but I realized I normally ended up doing most of the work because I always was very driven. So I got tired of doing all the work and then only getting a fraction of the acknowledgement. So I prefer to work alone or in a small team that I control. Um, so are you a leader or a follower? I think my answer is true for a lot of people as I get older. Um, I was a follower until I was about 16, and then everything changed. I started doing martial arts 2 to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week with one of my best friends who was a black belt. And after I became a black belt, I was very confident, very sure of myself. Why? I wasn't afraid of anything or anyone. Once that happened, my mind changed and I became very direction oriented, and people gravitated towards that and became my followers around my friends. When I Before I was more like, oh sure, whatever you want to do, but then later I became a lot more of a leader. What is the last TV show you watched? I know for sure what it was. I watched Vikings Valhalla season 2, episode 6. Actually, I watched episodes 4, 5, and 6 because I had 3 hours by myself, which doesn't happen often, so I was very happy. Question 19. What is the last DVD or movie you purchased? You could also say rented. The last movie I purchased was the Lego Movie. That's a great movie. My son absolutely loved it. It's VOD, it's video on demand. So I paid a couple thousand, 5,000 won, or 7,000 won. So for like unlimited watching or viewing. And because every Saturday night we have family movie night. Friday we let my son watch what he wants, but Saturday's for the family night. So we all three of us have to agree on what movie we're going to watch, unless we have people come over or something. But that's typically our Saturday night. In question 20, what relevance do you feel these questions have in regards to acceptable business behavior? So in question 20, the last thing oops. Sorry. Okay, so I said these questions are good for stimulating conversation to get to know each other, but they also make us think about what we want to do with our careers and what we hope to do in the future. Okay. Okay, so we're back again for the last slide for Microsoft Word first one, 20 questions. Now it's going to ask you different things here. Just 1 second. Okay, so the first one, in question 1, it asks you to bold the text. So you click the top left where it says B for bold, and after you highlight the information. Question 2 says, change the font size to your answer. So you're going to highlight the answer and then go up to where, and you can just click on that one. It shows to increase the size font, or you can you can highlight the font and then type in a number if you want. Part 3 says change the color of the text to the color you entered. So I said blue or black, so since it's already black, I changed it to blue. For question 4, underline the text. So you highlight everything and then click the underline tab, or you can hit Control and U for underline. Control B is bold, Control I is italics. Those are called hotkeys. So part 5 was center align the text, or no, italicize that. Part 6 was center, what is your favorite fast food? Center align the text. So you can click either Control I, or no, I'm sorry, no, that's the tab there for left justified, center, right justified, or justified. Number 7, insert a standard bullet. You can go to the bullet tab there. And then if you just click on that, it automatically makes a circle bullet. If you click to the little right arrow of it, you can change, insert a custom bullet. You can see there, I chose the arrow bullet from the menu. Part 9. What is your least favorite holiday? What is your least favorite holiday? Insert a custom bullet before the text. Oh, I'm sorry. No. What is your least favorite holiday is double underline the text. So here you can see, if you click here where it says underline, if you click to the right of there, it gives you the options of different types of underline. You can just click the double underline. Number 10, what is your most overused phrase? What is your most overused? Change the font style to one of your choices other than Arial or Times New Roman. We're already in Calibri, so I just changed it to something else. It's too small for me to see, so I can't remember what I chose. But you can see here, that's where you click on here, then you can choose the different type of font. Just choose whatever one. Yep. And number 11, what personality traits do you feel you need for your chosen career? Change the font size to 2 points smaller than the rest of the document. So you just highlight it. Everything's in 11 font. So I ended up, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Please text me. Next one was italicize the answer. Number 13, how do you think you will be when you grow up? How do you think you will be? How old do you think you'll be when you grow up? Change the font to that size. So I changed it to a much bigger. Oh, so I said 25, so I changed it to 25 font. How old do you think you'll be when you retire? How old do you think you'd be when you retire? Change the font size to that size. Oh no, sorry, add a strike through to the text. So just before that, hold on. 16, do you prefer to work as a team or alone? Change the font size to 20 points bold. So highlight it, change here to 20. Oh, sorry. It's going faster than I was talking. So to change to 20, click here, change it to 20, then hit B for bold, or you can do hotkey Control B and you'll change bold. 17, are you a leader or a follower? Change the first letter of the text to a drop cap. So I just highlighted the first letter and then made the font size different. What is the last TV show you watched? Change the text to all caps. For that one, I just highlighted everything and then hit cap locks and then rewrote it. Question 19, what is the last DVD or movie you purchased? Underline the text and use a bullet of your choice. So again, here you can just highlight the text and then click U for underline or Control U for underline, and also choose a bullet. So here you could just go back up here to the bullets, click on the bullet and choose one of your choice. So it kept changing all of the bullets, so I had to get rid of the bullet and then choose. So I just left clicked on there, and then it kept changing all of them. So I just did a left delete or backspace, and then I was able to change just that bullet. 20, what relevance do you feel these questions have in regard to acceptable business behavior? Copy and paste the text 2 times under your answer in separate lines. So Control C is copy, and then Control V is paste. So I just did Control C, then Control V, Control C, Control V. Or you can just do Control C to copy it and Control V, and then you'll be finished. And then you've pasted it twice underneath the text. Okay, now we have finished our first assignment. I hope that was easy to do, and in doing it in class, we would actually answer and share our answers with a partner, so that way we can kind of get to know each other in class. So I hope the first lesson was easy and helps you to go over the basic functions of how to do a Word document, changing different text, doing simple functions. What are some of the most common hotkeys that you will use? Those are always like Control B for bold, Control I for italicize, Control U for underline, and then Control C for copy, Control V for paste. And if you want, instead of copy, you want to like copy it but delete it, you can do Control X and then Control V to paste it. All right, thank you very much and have a great day.